Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our seminar. My name is Amy Burns. I'm a partner with Gorby Peters, and I want to introduce you all to Roz Lewis. We are just thrilled and honored to have Roz come and speak with us today. For those of you who don't know or didn't look at the information about the seminar, Roz is the CEO of the Greater Women's Business Council. That's called GWBC for those in the know. GWBC is a regional partner of the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. So basically, Roz leads GWBC's region, which has over 1,000 certified women businesses in Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Roz, we are very lucky to have today because she is a frequent speaker nationally. She's coveted by many programs. She puts on a number of her own programs with GWBC. She is a busy, busy lady, and we are just thrilled to have her. She is nationally recognized as an advocate for women businesses. She's gone to the White House on many occasions to help brainstorm and think of ways to help women businesses. And I personally became familiar with Roz just in the early part of 2020. And I have to say, it was amazing to see GWBC with Roz at the helm, just taking the pandemic by the horns and saying, well, if we can't have in-person meetings, we are for sure going to continue to provide help and services to our businesses, and we are just going to start doing virtual seminars. So she jumped right in, and they started from scratch, and it's been amazing. So thank you so much, Roz. We so appreciate having you here. I think it's going to be really great information for our businesses to find out more about becoming certified.
Well, thank you, Amy. And I tell you, for that warm introduction, you know, when you look at how you look at your next normal, because that's what we call it, our next normal, as opposed to the new normal, you do what you need to do. And of course, pivot, it probably was the most used word, right, in 2020, more than anything else. And so we're so proud of all the businesses out there that took the opportunity to try and pivot in order to be sustainable or even just survive. And that's what 2020 was about, kind of eye-opening as well as surviving for the business. But now we're here in 2021. So hopefully 2021 is going to bring about more opportunities, you know, for businesses, whether they're women, small or minority, as far as growth. So I'm so looking forward to this year being another pivotal year as far as our ability to grow and help support, you know, women businesses. I also want to take 1 second just to thank Mary and Mike of Gorby Peters. I mean, I will tell you, they have truly been a partner with GWBC when we were trying to pivot to virtual webinars, maintaining the health of your business. Mary was right there to say, what can I do? You know, Mike, what can I do to help you? And they've been great. So today, I hope you all are gaining a lot of valuable information as well. And now we're going to kind of talk about certification and whether it's the women's business certification or it's also the women-owned small business program, which there have been several changes that have been made to the program. So if you looked at it before and didn't meet the criteria, you may meet the criteria now. So if we can go ahead and start our slide presentation, I'll give you some information about our organization real quickly, and then jump right into the WBE certification and the WOSB certification with some of the changes. So our organization is actually, we just celebrated 20 years. We started in 2000, and currently we've increased that number. Believe it or not, in the pandemic, we were able to raise our number of certified WBEs up to 1,100. That was the number that we ended with on December 31st of 2020. But our mission mainly is to support women businesses, help them scale their businesses, create opportunities for them to meet some of the target customers that they're interested in, mainly our corporate members, which are members of our Fortune 50 or Fortune 100 organizations. But I also say it's important that women businesses do business with each other. That's important that you support each other as well in the ability for you all to grow your businesses. And of course, that's led by our board of directors, which is comprised of women businesses and our corporate members. So we are a member, or should I say a regional partner organization of a broader network, a nationwide network. And we are under the umbrella of WBENC. That's the acronym for the Women's Business Enterprise National Council that's located out of Washington, D.C. And as Amy mentioned in the intro, we cover the states of Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, where there's quite a few women businesses there. And depending upon where you are located, you will either be certified through our organization on behalf of WBENC, which is the Greater Women's Business Council, or one of the other 13 regional partner organizations throughout the network to get certified, the WBENC Certified, which is a national certification. So keep that in mind as well. So once you certify with one of the regional partner organizations, you will be able to utilize that certification, the WBENC certification, across the country for those corporations and those municipalities that accept the WBENC certification process. So who should certify? You know, because it's not for everyone. And that's something that's very key. We want to be realistic and kind of manage your expectations on certification. So you should consider certification, right? If, you know, you want to access more business opportunities, you want to validate, you know, to corporations. Corporations literally utilize and support WBENC as well as the regional partner organizations because they don't have the time or resources to go through the vetting process, for one thing. So they want to make sure you are who you say you are when you are pitching to them that you're a woman-owned business. And so that's very important. I always say it has to pass the newspaper test. When the CEO is standing up before people and saying, we do $100 million with women businesses, I always throw that out because that's where I want them to be, at least a little bit more. And we want to make sure that he is comfortable or she is comfortable in making that statement because they're looking to organizations like ours to do the vetting. Now, you should not undergo this if you're thinking that it is just an opportunity to get contracts, because there's more to our organization than that. It is literally the fact of being able to, yes, hopefully the end result is get some contracts, opportunity for you to scale your business through education because of the educational tools that we have available, scholarships, such as the TUC program, the executive TUC program that we have, other scholarships that we may have as well for you to grow your business. Even at GWBC, we have a radio show now where we give visibility to our women businesses. And that is so that we raise your voice because I feel it's important, especially in the challenges that we have faced over the last year and will continue to face, that people know that you're still open for business. And one way of doing that is through channels such as GWBC. Also, again, you know, if you think you're going to get preferential treatment, no, think about it. When you're applying, or when you're bidding on contracts through an RFP, the most important thing is that you're competitive, you have quality products or services, you can meet the deliverable deadlines, all of those key things that are a part of that decision matrix to help that sourcing manager or buyer make a decision that they're comfortable with in choosing you as a supplier to provide their product or service to take it to market. So those are the reasons that you should be thinking about and considering certification. Also, yeah, it's a network. It's an opportunity for you to network with other women businesses. Who knows, may be your partner, even a competitor. You could end up doing a joint venture, a strategic alliance with. So those are the things you should think about when considering certification. So let's talk about what that criteria is. You have to be at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled in order to be the initial part of the certification process. And also keep in mind, it's a 60 to 90 day process. We gather quite a bit of documents from you, whether it's 3 years of tax returns, history of your business, your bylaws, or your operating agreement, depending upon how your business is structured. All of these things we need, and then they go to committee to review. And we also conduct a site visit. And that site visit, believe it or not, we're going to conduct whether or not we plan to certify you based upon there may be some technicalities in the paperwork that you sent or not. WBEWOSB is required to do 100% site visit. That's part of their procedures. And then the other thing is, why does WBEWOSB do this? Of course, to provide integrity, creating a central repository of vetting of women businesses for major corporations. And currently there are over 350 major corporations that belong to the WBEWOSB network. And you do either a customer or consumer of theirs, or you possibly do business with them. And WBEWOSB also is a trusted third-party certifier, even of the federal government, as well for the WOSB program, which we're going to talk about next. And again, has a world-class program. So one of the things to keep in mind, though, since this program was implemented, which was back in October, when it was approved, October of 2010, and then pretty much rolled out through WBEWOSB as one of the third-party certifiers in 2011, there have been some changes that they have made, and they've been recent. They actually made them last year. One of the updates, and this is something to keep in mind, is the fact that you were able to self-certify. Now you cannot. You actually have to be certified. If you were self-certified and currently under contract, one of the things that you will have is until March with that self-certification, or if you're under a contract, it'll be to the term of that contract that you're able to hold that certification. But then you would then have to go through with the new certification process, either through SBA or one of the third-party certifiers. So that's something, to keep in mind, whether you're WOSB or EDWOSB certifications. So here you're seeing that you upload those in certify.sba.gov. That's only going to be available through March 31st of 2021. And the other thing to keep in mind, is that if you are going to compete on the federal contracts, you're now for set-aside programs now, this is just for set-asides for the WOSB, then you are going to need to go ahead and take action in the beta.certify.sba.gov. That's the link that you will be able to do. Also, keep in mind there are some requirements regarding set-aside. What does that mean if you are interested in becoming a supplier of the federal government? So that means that with a set-aside, there usually has to be one or more other WBE in that same space that is available to bid. And then, of course, there's also sole sourcing that could take place, where you are the only one that may be awarded that contract. Now, keep in mind the sourcing manager, when they do something like that, they are mainly looking at a reasonable expectation to contract, with you, and looking at the offers that may be available in order to award it at a fair price. So those are the things you have to keep in mind. And then one of the things I want to share with you is what's important to understand are the NAIC codes. So when applying, please make sure that you meet the requirements as regards to NAIC codes. There's over 2,000 NAIC codes, North American industry codes. And for the economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, there are 80 that are applied to that. And then for WOSB, it's 363. Now, when I say 363, meaning under the 1,000 NAIC codes, and it could be 1,204, so it's, specifically to what your NAIC code is, that's what I would look at to make sure that your company or the products or services that you provide meet that criteria, utilizing those NAIC codes. One of the other changes that has taken place too, before your revenues had to be aggregated over 3 years. Now it's 5 years that they have to be aggregated over. And also there has to be evidence of stock ownership. So looking at a stock ledger. One of the things we are still waiting on from SBA, although they have rolled out the new guidelines and rules, is more details about this. And how we are to administer all of this. And if you are interested in getting certified for WOSB through WBEWOSB, keep in mind, you have to be WBEWOSB certified first. So we do that first prior to certifying you for WOSB. There's no charge for the WOSB certification. There is a charge for the WBEWOSB certification, and it's on a sliding scale according to your revenues. So I just encourage you to go to our website, which you'll have that information at the end to find out more details about that. Now, for new applicants, talking about no contracts and you have no certification, you must be certified now through SBA or through the third-party certifiers. And keep in mind, right now, there are only 4 organizations that are third-party certifiers. They are WBEWOSB, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, which is the largest, or should have the lion's share of the WOSB certifications. There's the U.S. Women's Business Chamber of Commerce. There is NABO, the National Association of Women's Business Owners. And then there is the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of El Paso, Texas. So keep that in mind when you're considering which organization you're looking at as far as getting certified for WOSB. Through some of the other entities, they do charge for it. Through SBA, it is no charge at this time. So keep that in mind as well. Of course, I'm going to say, please join WBEWOSB, because beyond the WOSB certification, we offer so many other opportunities for you to scale and grow your business. Because once you get the paper, it's kind of like your degree. You can't just sit on the wall in order to generate job offers, right? It's you getting involved, getting engaged in order to make things happen for your business. And so, the other thing to keep in mind, as self-certification, here is saying if you are also considering to be eligible for the WOSB or the EDWOSB, at the time of the offer, a contract is considered throughout the life of the contract. So for the purposes of the contract, including multiple award contracts with the duration of more than 5 years, including option, a firm, must get certified by SBA or one of the approved third-party certifiers. So remember, the self-certification is expiring the end of March of this year. And I put this graphic up, infographic, and it's actually on SBA. And I thought it was very, very good in explaining how you should make a decision as to the value of you become WOSB certified. And so take a moment to go to the website, review it, look at all the paperwork you have to provide. Keep in mind, one of the things of going through the exercise of certification for women businesses, it will help you structure your business as it should be structured. So you don't have any surprises later as you're scaling or growing your business, whether you're going to the bank or the SBDCs, as Jeff mentioned earlier, which I strongly encourage, because it's FREE for the support that you would get there in helping to scale and grow your business. But think about that as well when you're making those decisions. You'll have all your paperwork in one location. That's the other value of it, because documents that you normally look at, we all know what happens when you're trying to start a business or get your business going. You're constantly looking for paperwork where it's all in one binder and it's all in one location, including a copy of your passport or your birth certificate. So even if you hadn't made the decision to get certified immediately, I would encourage you to at least look at the infrastructures of what is needed in order to ensure your business is legally set up as it should be. And of course, Gorby and Peters can help you with that too. These are my rock stars at our organization for our certification. Sharon Judge, who is a certification manager, as well as Evelyn King, who's also a certification manager. And they are the ones who are actually reviewing and processing the applications that come through our doors for WBENC certification. So I've listed several websites here, GWBC's website, WBENC's website, SBA, and also PTAC's website, where you can procurement technical assistance, because that's another opportunity to gain more insight, especially on government contracts that will assist you. So thank you so much for allowing me to take this time to talk to you about certification.
Hey, Roz, that was really, really great. Thanks so much. Got one question here for you, and that is, other than, we talked about GWBC and obviously the great certification process, but what other services, just briefly, does GWBC offer in terms of mentoring, small businesses just getting into this arena?
Great question. Thank you, Mike. As we know, two of the biggest challenges for women businesses are mentoring and access to capital. And so we've had a mentoring program for over 10 years. Initially, it started out women business to women business in order for those successful businesses to help those businesses that were growing. Our corporations got a little jealous about it and wanted to get involved. And so now we have corporate members who are also involved in our mentoring program. It's a class, so it's a year-long program where they meet once a quarter. However, the mentor and protege meet on a monthly basis just to talk about whatever challenges they may have, whether it's operational, whether it's marketing, whether it's HR, whatever areas that particular woman-owned business needs assistance in is where that mentor is helping them. So we have that program. We have other programs too, such as we talked about earlier, where you all have been very instrumental in helping us through our Maintaining the Health of Your Business. Those are our virtual webinars that we're going to start up very soon, again, for this year, calling our second seasons. We have mornings with GWBC, and those are Monday mornings. And what that is getting to know our corporate members and understanding their procurement processes. And so it's only 30 minutes. We ask that you get your cup of coffee or tea and join us for 30 minutes at 10 a.m. The first one for this year is going to be January 25th, where we're going to be featuring the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, who's a member of our organization, to talk about procurement and what those opportunities are as well. So there are quite a few things that we try to do. We also have opportunities on a national level. So there are national conferences that take place, of which you'll be able to attend and network and meet with other women businesses from across the country. And then coming back to GWBC, we also have what we call matchmaker sessions. We had a very successful matchmaker session in December, where we're able to match 95 companies with about 15 believe it or not, corporations for business opportunities. So think about your certification as an entree rather into being able to participate in these events. Because in order to participate in our matchmaker event, you must be certified. Because again, remember, we want to make sure you are who you say you are in order for our corporation to know that they literally are considering bringing you on as a supplier, as a woman-owned business.
Great, thank you for that, Roz. And I'm going to turn it now over to Ms. Mary Dawn Peters.
Well, thank you so much. And I do want to applaud Roz. I have never seen somebody jump into it as flawlessly as you did. We're going to learn from how you did it, Roz, in terms of making it look easy on video. But thank you so much. And I do want to say that Roz's programs were literally, I believe it was the second week that businesses closed. And she started rolling out everything from what do you tell your employees to what does the CDC recommend?
Yeah.
How do you bring people back to work? Can you go back to work? Can you reopen? Everything you can humanly imagine. Two, I do know, and this is a testament to Roz because I'm sure it's not in her job description. She was on the phone the day that PPP rolled out and everyone was in a lurch because the SBA's website crashed from all the people being there. Roz was on the phone all day and most of the night helping her members find PPP money. True fact, Roz?
Yes, yeah. That was when they shut down. They decided to shut down the big banks is what it was that day, and so it was important. I knew some of our constituents had applications tied up with who I call the BBBs, the big box banks. And I said, no, there's CDFIs out there and small community banks. So I, went through my little Rolodex and said, okay, who has money, so that I can direct my WBEs to apply there. And it worked out, which was great.
That is going above and beyond. I just have to say, well, thank you.
But Mary, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. One thing we have to keep in mind is, I think one of the eye-opening things of this experience is really elevating the importance of small business and understanding how important small business is to this economy. As opposed to and I'm very transparent, lip service, right? It is literally knowing the impact that they have of crippling this economy or elevating and raising this economy to where hopefully we will be getting back to. And our women businesses, they're rock stars, and that is what is important. And just the conversations I was having were very, not the conversations I like to have with them. So it was, what could we do? Because they're the sheroes. And the small businesses as well as the minority businesses, they're all, struggling. And how do we utilize what we have, our resources, and power is what I'm going to use. That to me is the way power should be used in order to support someone else. So that was the whole purpose of that. So I didn't care if I had to stay up all night. Whatever we needed to do. And I have to give a shout out to Ace Loans because he immediately responded to me and said, I have money directed my way. It didn't matter whether they were in Georgia, North or South Carolina. So that was great. That was the other challenge I had to do to make sure I could find it for all 3 states.